Hello. Let's see if this is working. I gotta stop doing the pin clacking because I think it picks up on the mic pretty loud, which is funny. I gotta stop. And time wise, this is caught up more faster than it normally is, so that's a good thing, I should say. Then it immediately lags, so maybe I lied. Anyways, we're here for another episode in our WWE 2K25 MyGM Series, and giving a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Filming it the same day as the last episode. I went into that episode kind of worried about the commissioner goals and the challenges for this season. And if I'm being honest, we are on a good trajectory, and I feel like it's not going to affect our booking a little bit too much. And right now, we kind of know what we're doing. So, good vibes on this side going into everything. And we ended that last episode by signing Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Diesel. He has dozens of nicknames. The only one I thought of was Shaq Diesel, Superman. So there's that. Now, the thing that we ended off with was like, I really wanted to do Shaq and Dominik Mysterio in a casket match, but the obvious concern there is the loser of a casket match ends up removed from your roster. And I didn't really want either one of these guys to be removed just yet. So I think what we're going to do, and the reason I'm harping on the casket match is that you get a big fan boost out of it, and it's one of our challenges, which we've already done one. And hilariously enough, Tyrese Halliburton was in that match, and I thought he would win, and he lost. So for the time being, he is not on the roster. So like I said, right now we're doing okay challenges-wise, and we should have this one done at the end of the next week. This one we don't have to worry about too much because tornado tags take off a lot of stamina, even though we still have 2 booked for this week's episode. So, back over here, the conclusion that I came with is that we're going to save Shaq and Dominik Mysterio for our next pay-per-view match. That way we get it done, we get the fan boost, etc. So, here's where we're at. Zoe Stark and Sol Ruka are feuding over the women's U.S. title, while Roxanne and Stephanie Vaquer are supposed to be feuding. I don't know if it's ever, started. It says that it has. And we can change Stephanie Vaquer to a specialist when needed. Rhea Ripley and Gigi Dolin are feuding. Our next goal is to sign 2 more women talents. I will say that. That way we have more on the women's side of things, because we only have 6 for the time being. And I'm going to hope, as much as I love Penta and Kevin Owens, I very much hope that they lose the tag titles in this main event matchup. That way we can move on to AJ Styles and Carl Anderson versus the Street Profits, which we've been trying to do for weeks upon months. We tried to even do it last season, and we never got to do it. So we're still trying to do it. We could still do it. Just a question if the tag titles will be on the line or not. I don't think there's anything else, but it's always nice to go through and remind ourselves of things. We still don't have a world champion, which is the other odd thing, I will say. But because we've been filling up so much time, we haven't really thought about crowning the world champion just yet. As Zoe Stark and Roxanne win the opening match. Also, a peek behind the curtain. I'm filming this the same day as the last MyGM episode. Also filming it the same day as the retro review this week, which is Final Battle 2014. So hopefully you checked both of those videos out. Or checked both of those videos out. So instead of doing a casket match, we're going to do an ambulance match that Dominik Mysterio surprisingly wins. And Shaq is going to be out for the next 2 weeks. And we extended his contract already, because we initially signed him for 2 weeks. So thank you to AJ, Carl Anderson. Sorry to Kevin Owens for being injured. We could finally move on to the Penta and Kevin Owens rivalry, which I kept mentioning over and over that we need to do. We don't have to, but I mentioned for the next pay-per-view doing the casket match between Shaq and Dominik Mysterio. I've mentioned wanting to do Kevin Owens and Penta. I think it would be a fitting conclusion to their rivalry once it gets started to do them in a casket match, and then that would be the 3rd casket match that was needed, but that is a long time from now. So we can slow it down on the tornado tags. I don't necessarily know what we're about to do on this week's episode. Nashville, Tennessee. Love Nashville, Tennessee. I don't like what I'm about to see from Bron Breakker. I will fully admit that. Thanks for the match against Ripley. I had a lot of fun going up against her in the ring. This sucks. This sucks very much. But Bron Breakker is a big part of our plans. So this is a rare occurrence where I'm not going to do this every damn time, but because we have a decent amount of money, I guess I will do it. I guess you saw that Mysterio put me in the hospital thanks to that ambulance match. Plus, of course, his constant cheating. I'm sick of his crap now that he's endangered my career. I want my revenge. The moment I'm out of traction, I want a rematch against him. He needs a serious beating for all he's put me through. I can do that. So, I don't know. We just got 3 power cords out of nowhere. Have 1 tables match this week. Oh, was it this? I guess it was because of this. So, if that being said, need to do 2 more 2 one-on-one matches. We didn't even conclude that one. Hold on. We done that. We have done that. We haven't done this one yet. I thought that we had. I thought we had already had 2 done. I don't know. We're in a good track record because so much of the yellow bar was filled up. So, where is Bron Breakker? Who is... All right, Carmelo Hayes is very upset with us. So Ruka is also upset with us. I don't like that. We haven't had a fixed match card in a while. I think this is going to be a week in which we change Stephanie Verker to a specialist. Been talking about that. As I thought I had already... Oh, you know what's funny? Is I hadn't even made my decision yet on this. Because I told y'all the obvious goal is to do Stephanie Verker versus Rhea Ripley. And Rhea's a bruiser, so we could have Stephanie be a fighter. And it hasn't necessarily affected her matches with Roxanne Perez yet. So that's why I was kind of holding off on that. But I will say, I think our main event this week is going to be Cody versus Dominik for the U.S. title with a run-in from Carmelo Hayes. I think our opening contest is going to be Bron Breakker and Trick Williams, and I'm going to surprise you. I wouldn't mind Bron Breakker being world champion. So we might go back and change this to a tables match. I don't know just yet. We're going to give Penta the week off. Yes, maybe. I don't know. Thinking it through. But we're going to have Carl Anderson do a promo. I don't know. We're thinking it through. I don't like Sol Ruka being upset. I will fully admit that. I think they're going to be the tables. We're going to do a tables match with these 2. And I hope that Sol Ruka could win. And then tag team wise, we don't necessarily need to start the Street Profits versus AJ and Carl. I think that next week we're going to do AJ and Penta in a submission match to conclude their one-on-one rivalry. So with that being said, do we have a health spa card? I don't think so, which is hilarious that we have all these cards and not the one that I wanted. So we're just going to give Penta the week off. Shaq, how long is Shaq out? Shaq is out 2 weeks. So I'm just trying to think of what match to do right here. I think a tornado tag is not the worst, even though I said I don't need to be doing so many. I'll come back. Screw it. We'll do a tornado tag there. And then over here, we're going to give Penta the week off with AJ doing a charity promo and the Street Profits doing charity promo. Yeah. Well, the Street Profits do ad promos and AJ do a charity promo. So, crown and WWE champion, Bron Breakker, Trick Williams. And hopefully Bron Breakker wins and is not as upset from us, even though he just took $100,000 from us. Sol Ruca, Zoe Stark, hopefully Sol Ruca wins, and then we can give her a title match after this. If not, then I'm not going to say all hope is lost, but slowly losing hope. Tornado tag match. I'm only really going to do this because everybody's staminas are still pretty high. If it wasn't, then I probably wouldn't. Then Dominik Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes for the U.S. title. I will fully admit. Because I think my plan is for the go-home show to do Cody Rhodes, Bron Breakker versus Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if Dominik ended up as the U.S. champion here. And then I kept mentioning to y'all, the thing about Cody that I like is that he's a specialist. We can go through the idea that we bring in talent to do the U.S. Open Challenge, and he can compete against any of them because he's a specialist. So I could do the same thing with Dominik. We would just have to, because we could change it to a specialist when need be. Worst case scenario, I might do Dominik versus Cody versus Melo for the U.S. title. And then whenever Shaq comes back, obviously reunite that. Which I thought we just made a promise to Shaq, but that does not appear here. All the other promises have popped up, though. I could put this in a stipulation. I just don't really know what. So I think we're just going to leave it one-on-one for the time being. So we have 2 title matches on this episode. And I also didn't really want every match to be a singles match. So that's why we made that a tornado tag in that 3rd match. Bron Breakker versus Trick Williams to bring back the WWE title. I'll also admit, because I've been very busy tonight, I have no clue what happened on Raw except for the fact that Logan Paul returned and wants a world title shot with CM Punk and ended the show by, I won't say that he is in the vision, but he is aligned with the vision, and I will fully say I absolutely hate that. I absolutely hate that because I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I've never been a Logan Paul fan. I don't think I will ever be a Logan Paul fan. A lot would have to change for me to a lot would have to change, and I don't think that it will. But the fact that we've waited so long for CM Punk to be an actual champion, and then they put him against Logan Paul, who just felt like right when Jey Uso became world champion, he got a world title shot. He definitely had a title shot against Cody Rhodes before. Like, I don't like seeing this man on my TV screen. And it's not like, oh, you hate him, so you want to see him get beat. No, I don't want to see him at all. It's that point. It has been at that point for a while. So I'm not a fan of CM Punk being lumped up with him. And I fully imagine it's because they want to do something at War Games. And I will also admit to you, and this is it's not even that hot of a take. And I've said it in a video before. I think this would have been a perfect year for them to do a 3v3v3 War Games match. I know fans don't traditionally like it because it takes away from the traditional 5-on-5, but I felt that this would have been a good year to do a 3v3 War Games match because you had the Vision, you had the Bloodline with Roman and the Usos, and you had CM Punk, and he just grabs 2 partners. I suggested Motor City Machine Guns, and because my whole fantasy book, and I went over this in a video, and then legitimately an hour later, Seth Rollins was like, announced it's hurt, and that's when Bron Breakker speared him, so I looked like an idiot. But my idea was like you bring Motor City Machine Guns to Raw, the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed take them out, and then they align with CM Punk to get revenge that way. Which, granted, to be fair, you could realistically put AJ and Dragon Lee with Punk. Would be a wild ass team, but I was just trying to get the Motor City Machine Guns to do something. Also, the other thing I will say about War Games, I miss when War Games teams had team names. Sting Squadron, Dangerous Alliance, which that was their faction name, I know that, but it has been a while since we've seen like faction names for these groups. So I just realized. So we have an increased match cost and we have a half off match cost. So I'm gonna wait until a week where we get hit with this to use this one. But I feel this is a perfect week to use a power card because we have so many piling up. So we're going to use one for each brand. So we are going to use this one on Raw. We are going to use this one on NXT. And then we're going to use this one on ECW. And because Raw screwed us over that 1 week and I want to make things even. See, here's the problem. You know what? We're going to do this for ECW. I should have done it for Raw. I wanted to like double down because they screwed us that 1 week, but ECW is right behind us in the fans, so we should mess with their fans more than Raw's. So now we're at 29, which technically now I'm about to make. We're even in the sense of it's 3 rows for all of them. There's not, I know it's not even because 29 is an odd number, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying there. Probably not. I'd probably just confuse the hell out of you. I'll do a good job of that. All right, week 57, week 7 here. Who's gonna be our world champion? It's hilarious that we've waited this long to crown one for this season. And it's Trick Williams. Thank you, Solrica. Thank you. I was trying to spend all that time just so I can go to Twitter and see if I missed anything else from Raw. I know they announced, I think it's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus in the John Cena tournament match. As Cody retains, as I talked so highly about Dominik winning, and then he didn't. So now, we're actually going to go through the show that way. Again, I could go through Twitter, see if there's anything else. That's funny. I just heard booing. And I saw Pat McAfee when I looked up. I don't think I see anything important. It's one of those instances where or is it going to be a new era? It's funny because normally it's a new era. I hate that term. It's a new era because it means nothing. This time around, it was a new landscape, and I'm saying that in quotations. I don't think it really is. Obafemi was on our roster at one point. I think it's season 1, and then he got hurt and left. Andrade and Rosie both had 100 stamina. Good for them. I'm also, while we're at it, let's look to see. We need some trades. NFL, we need some more trades. Green Bay. I don't want to say anything too damn outdated, but come on. As Konosuke Takeshita versus Yota Tsuji. has been confirmed for Wrestle Kingdom. And it seems that Kyler Murray will not be the starting quarterback for the Cardinals for the future, in quotations. A lot of Bloodline members on ECW. Remember I tried to freaking trade him Roman... I tried to trade him The Rock. I didn't even try to trade him Roman Reigns, and they just said no. Maybe that was The Rock saying, I don't want to be there. Thank you to whoever just followed me on Twitch. I'm not reading all that. I'm kidding. Bro, how many fans they just get? Also, I don't really know why I really wanted that power card so much, because nobody ever signs anybody, so that don't even matter that much. ECW did get a bunch of fans, though, because they did a backstage brawl. I did see that. So, we kind of need to do a backstage brawl. Ruka is such a preeny phony. Horrible to watch her taking on a solid pro like Stark and get an undeserved win. I want the opportunity to help Stark out. Let me be in her corner by targeting Ruka with a run-in within the next 2 weeks. My goal was to do Rhea versus Gigi, Rhea versus Soul, Rhea versus Stephanie Verker. We're kind of advancing the Rhea and Soul thing, but at least it's something that was planned. Hey, boss, I have a bit of a problem. I had a costume malfunction during practice today, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to go tonight unless we fix it ASAP. Well, here's the thing, Trick. You literally just won the title, so it'd be hilarious to, not book you. I'm willing to take the risk and be cheap and save the $15,000 and just pay the $5,000, because I know the one time that I didn't pay for it at all, the next week you got fined double the amount of money. So I'm taking a risk there. I will admit, I know I'm taking a risk there. That is what it is. So we finished this one. We need to do a charity promo, and we only need 4 matches with 3 more stars, which I think, logically speaking, we could do that this week, if I'm being honest. So we are going to do Zoe Stark and Sol Ruka Extreme Rules with the U.S. title on the line with Rhea. So what do we got to do here? A run-in with Rhea targeting Sol Ruka. Then I want to do a backstage brawl with Trick Williams and Braun Breaker. We'll get that done there. I want to do, because I talked myself into really wanting Dominik to be the U.S. champion. So whoever wins stays at the U.S. champion for a while, even if it's Melo, which I'm going to imagine at some point we could turn Melo into a specialist. I would just prefer our U.S. champion be a specialist. That way, whoever we bring in, we could have them do the U.S. Open Challenge matches, and it fits anybody because, again, they're a specialist. So that's why I'm all right with either Cody or Dominik. I think we could probably turn Melo into a specialist when need be. And this last matchup, I want to do AJ and Penta next week in a submission match. I think we're going to get a head start on this tag rivalry and just do it as a non-title match, correct? And then we had to do an Extreme Rules match, and I wanted to do a backstage brawl, and we're doing that. So now we'll give Penta one more week off. Who has the highest promo out of these people that are left? Roxanne could do the charity promo. Stephanie Verker, or what is Roxanne? Roxanne is a level 16. I think it benefits us more if Roxanne is a specialist than a fighter, where with Stephanie Verker, we're still going to wait it out So we're going to do this and turn Roxanne to a specialist. So this will be a class change. We will have Stephanie Vicker do a charity promo and Gigi Dolin do an ad promo. And then who does that leave left? That leaves Penta. Like I said, we're not going to book him. We'll book him next week. I don't necessarily think there's anything we're missing out on. Hopefully we get a lot more money next week and we could potentially do a couple of talent scout searches. Oh, see, here's the thing. This is hilarious. Is I wanted Jalen Brunson on the roster. That way I could say Dominik. Because I wanted to do Dominik and Jalen Brunson. If I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't mind Jalen Brunson on the roster, but also don't have anything planned for him. So I'm just not going to do it. Sorry, Brunson. While we have the money for it, we're going to do an immortal talent search. Eddie Guerrero would fit us perfectly. Abyss would fit us perfectly. Obvious issue is I don't necessarily know if I have anything for him. And The Undertaker, obviously. So this is an hilarious talent scout search, I will admit that. Who on our roster could any of these... Because there's the obvious Eddie Guerrero, Dominik Mysterio dynamic. Let me sip my Baja Blast and think. I really want to... I know this is insane. When you look at the 4 people here, the one that I want the most is Abyss. I will admit, I know that is insane. I also admit I don't really know what we would do with Abyss. But I don't know what we would do. Like, this is at least... Because sometimes... The last time we did a talent scout search, Love X-Pac, we got X-Pac and we got 6. Which you obviously see the issue there. Can I talk myself into any of these? Like, I feel the Eddie and Dominik like dynamic is like there. It's like I should attack that. Something about Abyss like is really intriguing to me, but again, I don't really know of anything. I think we're just gonna pass on it unless I like see something here. I'm like, yes, we need to do that. Abyss is speaking to me though. I think we're just going to pass on it for the time being. I know that is a crazy thing. I got to refresh my computer. Hopefully nothing happened to the stream. So, Zoe Stark. We also need to sign more female talent because we have way too many men on the roster. Zoe Stark versus Sol Ruka. Women, this is a mouthful. Women's U.S. title Extreme Rules match. Tag team match. AJ Styles and Abyss, I'm fairly certain in like 2003 TNA were tag champions together. So who could any of these people go like who can any of these people go against? Let me think. We're gonna think about it. Cody Rhodes versus Carmelo. Hayes versus Dominik. Mysterio. U.S. title match. All right. The good thing about Eddie is that he would be a special. We could change him to a specialist, which we realistically speaking could put him as a future U.S. champion. I think we're just gonna do the safe thing and not do any of it just yet. The main event: Trick Williams, Bron Breakker, backstage brawl. All right. Next week's episode, we should be doing AJ Styles and Penta in a match. Zoe Stark is still the Women's U.S. Champion. Street Profits win here. So thank you, Dominik, for winning. I will admit it terrifies me to do that casket match now with Shaq, and Shaq wins. Braun Breaker winning here, but it is a non-title match. I think the Street Profits match was at 3 stars, but we had 3 3-star matches happen. Imperium versus Fraxium is a fun main event, but I'm not sitting through the rest of that. Oh, that's hilarious. He did the trick. Oh, Jesus. I see this last message. I don't necessarily like it. The costume rush job actually did the trick. It held together pretty well, and the backroom staff have got it back in perfect shape. Thanks, boss. Just to remind you, I expect my revenge against Dominik Mysterio. So we could do this match, and we will do this match. If there's a fixed match card, we will do it as a casket match tonight with Dominik winning. Doing a head count, it looks like Carmelo isn't here this week. He left a note on his locker claiming that he needs time away from management for the next 2 weeks. You may have to adjust your plans. It sucks because, we kind of booked him like Triple H in real life. I'm not guaranteeing that Rhea won't be booked this week. I will say that. I will say, don't we have a steel cage? Didn't we just okay, we're going to do Sol Ruka and Zoe Stark in a steel cage match. Because it makes sense because Rhea interrupted last week's match. So this makes sense to do this match. I will say that. We have to do Dominik and Shaq in a match. What type of match? For now, we'll put it as a casket match. And again, it sucks because we don't have the fixed match card. So this might be something that comes back to bite us. I will admit that. Bro, we got a lot of... This is... low staminas all around. We're going to do Penta and AJ in a submission match. This should end their rivalry. Boom. Kevin Owens, we could find something for. Because we actually can't. I thought he was back this week. He is not. He'll be back next week. I think we probably need to put Rhea in a match with Gigi Dolin. And I think that we will. So what I said... I think we're taking the risk in doing the casket match. I think we're going to take the risk and do the casket match because we're definitely not... We can't do even if we got the fixed match, we can't do it at the pay-per-view. So there's that. Fuck it. I'm going to be a coward and not book it in a casket match. What type of match? We'll do it in a no-holds-barred match because we have that power card as well. So back over here, these two women's U.S. titles steel cage match. Boom. Right here, Rhea versus Gigi. I think they would be good in a underground match. And then right here, Stephanie McCurry versus Roxanne. I don't know what type of match. An Iron Man match. So the women are in high stakes matches. Carmelo's kind of screwing himself out because I already told y'all I wanted to do that Fatal 4-Way at the pay-per-view, which now might be turned into a triple threat. Or it might just be a one-on-one match with Trick and Bron, which makes sense. So, for such a high-stakes match, I think we're going to use this for Bron. Trick. We're going to do as many charity promos as we can. Cody doing a charity promo, which we're going to do 2. And then 2 ad promos from the Street Profits. Now, is there anything here that I'd like to change before we go any further? So well, there's 2 power cards that we need to use at least. If I wasn't so concerned about Dominik losing, how long is Shaq under contract for? 3 weeks. It's interesting. If we get a fixed match card, then not at the pay-per-view, but the next show, we'll do the casket. I keep promising y'all this casket match. I'm not promising. I keep teasing this casket match because it would be fitting, but it's still TBD. So I think it is fair because we're not going to do it definitely at the pay-per-view. So one of those guys being injured for the pay-per-view doesn't affect us that much, and we have this card that we probably wouldn't use any other time, so we will use it now. We have the steel cage match, which makes sense to do because Rhea interfered in last week's match. So to prevent that from happening, that's why they're competing in a steel cage. I don't know if there's necessarily any other card we need to use. Screw it. What is this? Top 25 popularity. I think this would be a good show for us. This is going to be one of the times we use this. That way, or even, y'all understand how I'm considering it even. So Shaq's getting his wish by competing competing against Dominik. And it's in the main event, which is hilarious. So, what is the pay-per-view as well? Money in the... Oh my god, we need to win. We need to win. Money in the Bank, you get the 100,000 power card. So, this might be an instance where we're probably just going to do Bron versus Trick at the pay-per-view and have Cody in our brand showcase match. And probably Rhea. So, it is of the utmost importance that I'm glad that I looked at to see that our next pay-per-view is Money in the Bank. So, over here, AJ Styles Penta one last time in a submission match. Who would have been the best person for Abyss to go? Like Penta keeps like popping out to me. Like Penta and Abyss probably could have done something special. Women's title. I don't really want Rhea getting hurt. So we're just going to do this as a Extreme Rules match because it doesn't take as much stamina and it saves us, I think, $5,000. Almost said $55,000. So women's title, Extreme Rules. Stephanie Vicker versus Roxanne Perez, Iron Man, and Soruka, or Zoe Stark versus... I'm going to only say this because typically I put the champion first. So Zoe Stark versus Soruka. Women's U.S. title, steel cage, and Dominik Mysterio versus Shaq, which is we could do like consider this an open challenge. He's like, "Who am I facing?" And then Shaq's music hits, and he's like, "No, he's supposed to be gone," and then he's back, and he's looking to become the U.S. champion. Which I will admit, if Shaq wins the U.S. title, we might just have to extend him hilariously enough. But U.S. title, no holds barred match. All right, I'm loving what we've been cooking. The only thing I will admit. The top thing, I can't say it's the only thing, because the more I think about it, the more problems I'll probably have. The top thing I will admit I have a problem with, I don't like that Carmelo Hayes is not that happy with us. We could be booking you against The Miz with no title implications. So AJ Styles wins here. Our rivalry is complete. Our world champion delivered a disappointing charity promo. Rhea Ripley retains in a high star match. That's how you deliver a charity promo. Roxanne Perez wins here. Sol Ruka. Good for Sol Ruka. A 5-star match as well, so Shaq and Dominik, what can y'all do? Dominik wins. Was the first match that we booked him in? Thank you for doing a 5-star match. Was the first match that we booked him in a no holds barred? No, it was an ambulance match. But Shaq ended up hurting both matches, which it's not funny when I'm about. It's kind of funny what I'm about to say, but his real life match that he had against Cody, he ended up hurt in. So not necessarily the best signs for Shaq in a wrestling ring. But 2 5-star matches, I'm glad. Bro, Stephanie Roxanne, we're going to have a talk because look at what the other people were able to do. Very good episode. Very good episode. Kind of wish we got more money out of it. But we put a lot of money into it. Okay. Money in the Bank. Shawty, what you think? One of the better SmackDown vs. Raw matches. Oh my God, AJ's gonna be asked. I don't even know what he just did. He did the. I know what he did now. I think you should put me in a match with Ford. Trust me on this. Okay, I'm willing to do it. I was not going to do it at the pay-per-view, AJ. Look, AJ has been handing me nothing wrong. Is there someone? Yes, Penta. You're going to be going against your former tag partner. So, have at least one gauntlet match this week. If Carmelo Hayes wasn't hurt, Mexico City, Mexico. Okay, a lot of things here. Thing one, we need a fixed match in this next search. All right, we're putting Cody Rhodes in this match. See the best. Look, Shaq would be great in this match, but we're putting Cody Rhodes in this match, and we're putting Rhea Ripley in this match. And she has the highest stamina out of all our women, which is not the best thing. Now, a gauntlet match. Winner gains 5 popularity, but loses 10 stamina. Do I care that much about the? That is a good thing to have. I think I'm just gonna. You know what? We're doing Trick and Bron because that's what I plan to do, and we're gonna do it in a TLC match because that's the pay-per-view match specialty. Who has the highest promo here? I don't know why Shaq's mad at us, by the way, because we gave him the 2 matches that he wanted. We should go ahead and get this last freaking thing done. So we're going to do the charity promo. Granted, I should turn Penta. We need Penta to be heel. So we're going to do that the next show. But we're going to have Penta do the charity promo, which is hilarious based on what I just said. We need Penta to be heel, or we're going to have to do a charity. But those 2 things don't really go well together. But you understand why. So if I bought this, would this take away? I don't. You know what? I want to. If I bought this, does this counter that? Because we got this. This is vetoed. So if I bought this, does this counter the other things? I would imagine it has to. It does. Okay. So that is good. I got a bit worried that we might have just wasted $50,000, but I don't think that we did. So I don't know if there's necessarily anything else. We could do a talent scout. I think we're going to do a talent scout search here, since we're not spending as much money. Rob Van Dam would be great. Victoria would be good as well. RVD could also be a specialist. I think he would be a good... I think we're probably going to sign RVD. It's either RVD or Victoria. I'm going to do 2 of these. Maxine Dupree. We could probably find something for her to do. I think I want RVD on the roster. If we brought in... Do we go with Victoria or RVD? We're probably going to go with RVD and then sign Maxine Dupree. Then we need to find one more female talent to make it us even at 8. So we're going to use one of these free immortal cards to sign Rob Van Dam. Boom. And look at over here. I'm going to go ahead and use one of these on Dominik. Which we probably should have used the 10-week one on Dominik, but I wasn't thinking. I think I want Maxine Dupree on the roster. Do I? I wouldn't mind it. But I don't know necessarily what she'd be doing. So, I think we're going to wait. We'll wait. Even though I do like Maxine Dupree. So, our opening contest is Cody Rhodes representing SmackDown. Anything else here we need to change? I don't think so. Alright. I'm alright with the... let's look at the power cards. I don't think there's necessarily anything here. They need a power card that gives you free talent scout searches. That's what we need. We don't need more talent scouts. We need free talent scouts. We should give this to Carmelo Hayes, if I'm being honest. But I feel like there's probably somebody that's more... Like, Shaq being that mad at us doesn't matter because he's about to leave. Stephanie McCurr... It's going to be very much a case of whoever needs it first between Stephanie McCurr and Carmelo. Which, again, is not something that I'm that proud of, having to, like, worry about that as well. We have another health spa, so... I think because so many people are not being booked this week, that we just won't use it. We'll save it. So, I think I'm alright with this week's episode. We do need a thumbnail. I will admit, I have not thought about this thumbnail. So, this is also a tag match. I did not realize that. Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes versus Stax Lorenzo, who I think challenged for the X Division title last week, not on this week. And Duke Hudson. It is hilarious. It's not even hilarious. It's kind of sad and bullcrap that TNA, like, they had a lot of momentum after Bound for Glory. They are going on like 3 to 4 straight weeks of best of and not even live episodes. So I'm happy that we got $100,000 coming our way, guaranteed. As Trick Williams is defending the WWE title against Bron Breakker. WWE title in a TLC match. I forgot that. As my L kind of looked like a C. With Trick retaining. And the rivalry completed. So I imagine that Bron Breakker will not be happy about that. I would actually love to see this match. This match somewhat I know that Ivar and Obafemi had a match in NXT a couple years ago. So Apollo Crews being thrown in there kind of seemed fun. I'm hoping their rivalry is completed. Thank you. Thank you. I don't like those 5 stars, but thank you for completing that rivalry. All right. Rhea Ripley representing SmackDown. It's Liv Morgan representing NXT against Ivy Nile of ECW, who I think would be a good fit in ECW, versus Nikita Lyons of Monday Night Raw in a fatal 4-way, not a tag match. Thank you, Rhea. $200,000. It's coming our way. Thank you, Rhea. And a Hall of Fame trophy is coming our way too. I forgot about that. That is a good thing. That is a good thing to also have just happen. So fan-wise, ECW is like halfway to us, almost halfway to us. We have a men's and women's world champion now. Oh my God! Now this is kind of bullcrap. Now we don't get to use our new signing. Carmelo is here at 100 stamina as well. All right. Someone that I want on this roster, who was on our roster last season, was Tatum Paxley, which I know that she assigned to one of these shows. I think she's here because she was tag partners with. So Tatum Paxley. Andrade, I wouldn't mind on the roster. Where do I look at? Because I think I could turn him to a specialist, correct? I can. So I want Andrade. I wouldn't mind Andrade. Bianca Belair would be great, but I would have to give up a crap ton to get her. Obafemi was on a roster at one point. ECW there's just stacking money, which is obviously the opposite of real life, but don't really, outside of Jacob Fatu, there's nothing much I would want. Which I wouldn't mind bringing in Jacob Fatu to feud with Penta. I will admit that. Something about that intrigues me. But I also want to do Penta and Kevin Owens. So, over here, I don't necessarily have anything to give up that they would probably want, I will admit. Because I want to bring in Tatum to feud, or to team with Tatum to team with Gigi. I will admit that. Or maybe feud. So if I concluded Rhea, we're supposed to do Rhea and Sol Ruka next. And I needed to do Stephanie Vaquer versus somebody next. I really wanted Rhea and Stephanie to be our Mania feud. That might have to end up being our next feud. That way we could do Sol Ruka and Rock. Because if I'm trading, hypothetically, if I'm trading Zoe Stark to get Tatum Paxley, because that might be the easiest way to get this done without giving up a bunch of money. So I will say this. I'm willing to give up $175,000. And I know he's probably going to reject this, but I'll at least propose it, and then we're just going to immediately have to use one of those 100,000 power cards. Okay. I don't really know an easy way to do this because I don't want to give up 200,000. I will admit that. I think I'm willing to give up 85,000 though, which is that's still a lot. All right. Because I'm all right with everybody that I like. To be honest, Zoe Stark, Stephanie Vaquer, Sol Ruka. All right, because I got to think of this because all these rivalries are about to conclude. And I wanted to do Sol Ruka and Rhea. Okay. We need to do something with Zoe Stark, Roxanne. And the thing that sucks is that all of them are specialists. I don't really need all the specialists feuding with one another. So logically speaking, we need to trade for Tatum Paxley and bring in another woman to team with Zoe Stark. That way we could do Gigi and Tatum versus Zoe Stark and the other person. Roxanne can feud with Soruka. And then I guess Stephanie and Rhea would have to do now, which I really wanted to save that for Mania. Because we can't do Roxanne, unless we do Roxanne and a partner versus Gigi. And I don't know, because at some way we're going to end up freaking having the same rivalry. That's the issue that we're running into here. I want Tatum Paxley, because at least she has a relationship with Gigi Dolin. I also just realized Becky Lynch is on this roster, but I did not see. Is there anybody else here that I'm like, okay, I can see them teaming? I wouldn't mind Jade and having her feud with Rhea. I will admit that. Something about that intrigues me. Apollo. I just feel like we don't have enough for Bianca. I will say that. We would go broke trying to trade for Bianca. Lash Legend, I just don't necessarily think there's anything for her to do over here, even though I do like Lash Legend. Liv Morgan and Roxanne. Versus Gigi and Tatum. Doesn't necessarily excite me that much. So I think we're going to offer $75,000 for Tatum Paxley. And if he says no, we'll just move on. Because I don't mind keeping Zoe Stark. Okay. I think that I'm willing. I'm gonna one more 80,000. I know that she's worth 90. You know what? I'll be just 85,000, which is still a lot. Okay. He's probably not gonna be happy. I'm ready to move on. I'm not. No. Definitely not. No. Because I'm very stingy. I want to keep my money. I already forgot about this. So we might not even. So Shaq is gone, which is hilarious. It's also hilarious that the power cards got raised, and then I keep talking about wanting to do the fixed match, and we're going to have to wait. Hey, boss, I was hoping to take some personal time. Can I get 2 weeks off? I'm giving him 1 week. I think you should put me in a match with AJ. Trust me on this. We're definitely doing that, yes. Talent scouts cost 50% less cash. Self promos double. Shows with GM interference grant. All right, we're doing this because we're never going to do the other two. All right, so we got this done. Seeing that trophy down there kind of makes me smile a little bit. So we're going to do AJ and Montez in a match. Shaq says he is done. Can I just fire Shaq and get this 3,000 back? The other thing is we need to like make one of these upgrades while we have the money, and especially because we have 200,000 just laying in the power. How is there a fixed match here? I knew there would be, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter anymore because the damn casket match I wanted to do, we can't even do. I don't, screw it. We don't even need it anymore. All right, though. I think we're going to. What benefits us the most out of these? I think this one does because it gives us more money. And I like money. So we're going to do this and then activate one of these 100,000 power cards. And then we'll save the other one for when needed. So we're kind of back to even. We're 100,000 down, but this is typically where we're at. That's what I was getting at. Now over here, I think where we're going to end up, I think I do have an idea though. Trick Williams. I can't even do Carl Anderson got freaking screwed in. When did Carl? Oh, okay. Carl Anderson didn't. Dominik's on the vacation. That's why we can't use Dominik. I got very confused there for a second. I want to do some type of match here. Will it be a gauntlet? Probably not. But I do have an idea here. I do have an idea. We're definitely doing AJ and Montez because both men have requested it. Penta's next match will not be against Montez or against AJ. We're gonna do Rhea Ripley and Gigi Dolin one last time in a steel kit. I would love to do it. Look, time out. Is one of these freaking power cards? If we had the power card, that was the one, because there is a power card that the loser of a casket match doesn't get removed. And if I could, that would be a great, casket match. I don't really know the proper match to conclude this rivalry with. I will admit that. I think simplest one would be a steel cage, but we might change it to a backstage brawl just for the fans. And then up here, I want Angelo Dawkins in a match. I wanted to do Angelo Dawkins and Carl Anderson, but obviously we can't do that. So over here, LA Knight would be a good sign-in. Candice LeRae would also be a good sign-in. I also completely forgot about that freaking timeout. We should have been doing all immortal searches, but we could save that for next week. All right. Maxine Dupree is back. Surprisingly, none of these people, only one of these people, are a heel. Dragon Lee would be great for our roster, and he fits the criteria of our U.S. Open Challenge thing that we're trying to go with. I wouldn't mind Candice LeRae on the roster. I don't necessarily know what we'd be doing with her, but I wouldn't mind it. For this week, former talent on our roster, Charlie Dempsey will be here to go against Angelo Dawkins in the Underground, because it's been a while since we've done an Underground match. Now back over here, LA Knight, I will admit, is probably the way to go. Dragon Lee is also interesting, but I don't know. I keep going, I don't know what I'm going to use them for. I also keep mentioning we need to sign a female talent that I completely ignore. Because I will admit, when you look at this side of things, we need to find something for RVD. Because I 100% admit, I forgot about RVD. I think Thing One, a lot of these people have earned new perks that we've kind of been ignoring. We need to find something for RVD to do. We need to find something for Dominik to do. All of our male talent outside of the Street Profits, AJ, Kevin, and Penta, because Bron Breakker and Trick Williams, they're done. Cody and Melo are about to be done. I think I'm going to do the logical thing and just make this a regular match and not put a stip on it, because I don't have to. And if I feel like if I put the stipulation on it, kind of a higher injury risk. Back over here, I will admit we probably need to sign somebody, but I don't know who just yet. Because right now, how many men are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What the hell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So where did I went wrong. So no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I forgot about RVD. Dominik needs a feud with someone. RVD needs a feud with someone, and then all the people in the world title match need a feud with someone. RVD and Melo sounds great. Other than that, I'm not that interested in it because I want Bron and Cody to be our Mania rivalry. So I think the issue that we're slowly running into is we might have to be doing our Mania rivalries now because I've talked myself into Bron and Cody. I don't really necessarily know if we need to be doing Dominik and Cody. Trick's the most interesting thing for Trick was with Braun Breaker. Even though I will admit something about Trick and LA Knight somewhat interested me. I will admit that. But then again, we'd be back uneven at 13. Hilariously enough, I also would feel the need to sign Maxine Dupree because her, in WWE lore, her and LA Knight are brother sister, which I feel a lot of people forget about that. I think we're going to sign LA Knight. I think I've talked myself into signing LA Knight. Granted, it makes us uneven again. But I feel he kind of fills the void. Because a lot of this I don't really think there's anything that interesting for Trick to do outside of it. I think LA Knight Trick's going to be the way to go. I think RVD, Dominik, and Melo is going to be the way to go for the U.S. title because I could turn all of them into specialists because I want the U.S. champion to be a specialist for the U.S. Open Challenge reasons. It's only the third time I said it in this video. Issue also, I will admit, though, is I'm kind of neglecting the women again. I've been saying we need to sign more women, then I just freaking ignore it. So, I've talked myself into signing LA Knight, though. I will say that. So, we will sign him on this. And then come over here and use one of these on him. Boom. So LA Knight is here. I've talked him into feuding with Trick Williams. I like that idea. And to be honest, whoever wins out of these other three, I'm fine with. Even though I'd prefer it to be Cody. That way, because again, I think the issue that we've ran into is we need to do Cody, Bron, and more than likely Rhea and Riculur now instead of doing it at Mania, which does suck. But at least it's also another thing of like I'd rather get it done than not do it at all. Also, just realize we don't have to do another charity. I like doing the charity promos for the fan boost, but we don't have to prioritize it because we got that challenge done. But I've also talked to myself. Do we sign Candice or Maxine? See, the other thing. Eve Torres is also there. I will admit that. We need to sign a woman. I will sign a woman out of the ones available. I just don't know who just yet. I did want to sign Dragon Lee, but we won't go that far just yet. And I don't want to use this 100,000 just yet as well. I want to save it for when needed. So what was I getting at? Women's wise, Candice and Zoe. Who would they be feuding with? Gigi. Because we can't even do Gigi and Tatum. Roxanne and Riculur are still feuding. We probably need to get the women's U.S. title onto one of Roxanne or Stephanie. That way we could do Or we might need to find a tag partner for Stephanie. Who knows? Who knows? There's a high chance that we end up doing Rhea and Stephanie, Cody, Bron now instead of Mania. We still got time to figure it out. This is a weird week because so many people are blocked from being used. But we have enough matches being used. But do we do it? Do we sign Candice or do we sign? First of all, Candice is kind of expensive, or Maxine isn't. But we don't have anything for Maxine to do. Where Candice, I feel, could fit in a little bit better, and Eve Torres, damn sure, is more expensive. Also, as much as I'd like to do a backstage brawl with these two, how many of these contract? I think we only have one more of these left. And we can't use this power card or this power card because we already used both this week, the 10 plus weeks contract. Also, how long is Zoe Stark out for us? 2 weeks? So I think we're going to wait it out. And as much as I'd like to sign Candice, I think we will wait that out. So we can go back to this being a backstage brawl and hopefully conclude their rivalry. These two one-on-one underground match. I should turn Penta into a heel. I think there's a chance that we have Kevin be the heel when he comes back because he's been out for so long. And we can keep Penta as a face. We're going to do a call-out promo, which is a very rare for us to not do all ad. You know what? We'll have Stephanie McCurr call out Roxanne. Boom. And then Roxanne do an ad because she has a higher promo. So we're going to do this episode, set up the next week, and then we'll wrap this up. Because this is the last page of my notebook, and I am interested to see who wins this main event. I don't want to have to wait any longer to see who wins the main event. And yes, I know there's a fixed match card, but I'm not paying. Yeah, I kept talking it up. I need a fixed match. I need a fixed match. And then finally it's there. And then they screw us by jacking up the prices. Week 61 in total. Week 11 here. Backstage brawl with Rhea Ripley, Gigi Dolin, hopefully concluding this. We're kind of screwing our women's division over because we haven't made any signings, which the next signing should be it's hard for me to say that when we do the Immortal talent search because the last 2 times that we did it, no woman talent appeared. Thing 1. Thing 2, I'm more prone probably to sign one of the male talents. So I will say we need to make an improvement in our women's division because we kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. Charlie Dempsey's one-night return to go against Angela Dawkins because nobody else was available. Because we had a lot of. This should be Carl Anderson versus Angela Dawkins, but Carl Anderson got blocked. I also still don't know what the thumbnail is. It's got to be something with Shaq and Dominik, if I'm going to be honest. Main event, massive main event. Cody Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes. I want to hope this concludes. I don't really want this to spin out into any other rivalries. And we never did a tag match with these 4 men. We should have. I'm not putting it off because we signed LA Knight and we know what he should be doing next. But Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes versus Cody Rhodes versus Bron Breakker. WWE title match. I will say this. It might come off of me lying a little bit, but not even really. I'm kind of alright with any of these guys walking out as the champion. So here we go. Last week, and then we'll fill out next week's episode, but end the video before we go through it. As Rhea wins once again. Did not end up injured, which is good. Even though I kind of wanted that to conclude their rivalry. A requested match by both men, with AJ winning. Would be a fun match. Something they should do in real life. Angelo Dawkins wins. And Cody wins. I think that probably means we need to do Cody and Bron Breakker, but I'm not making a guarantee. I want to see what happens in this main event. It's the Miz, the world champion over here, and Hurt. Going against. Do they have Ludwig Kaiser as a heel? I can look back at the screen and see. Today in TNA history, AJ Styles, Sanjay Dutt, and Austin Aries defeated Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and Alex Shelley in an X Division class. This is my type of, like, y'all can't get me to talk bad about 0506 TNA. That is I love that era. I love it. And so I'm pretty sure. Let's go back to the ECW. They freaking running back off versus Angel, but they do have Macho Man. All right. I'm glad that we had a 4.5 star opener and main event. That way we could prove we are the proper show. I got really pissed by them running that back. All right. Another power card we can't use because you know what? We might actually can be able to use that on Macho Man. All right. Another week where the power cards are increased. So we'll give Bron Breakker the time. Oh my god! I also realized we have to turn Bron Breakker heel. I completely forgot about that. At least one underground match this week, which is hilarious because we probably will. So, bro, I forgot. I didn't forget. I didn't forget. We needed the fixed match, but they raised the damn prices on it. I forgot what I said I wanted to do. I think I said I wanted to turn Kevin Owens heel. Rob Van Dam is here. I think we're going to conclude Cody and Melo in a steel cage match, which is extremely risky, but with the title not on the line. We got so many low energies, I will admit that. It is risky to even think of anything. Angelo Dawkins and Carl Anderson will be in a match. Because I said that we were supposed to do that last week. This might be an underground match. We might end up changing that. Dom is here. RVD is here. Penta's here. Kevin Owens is here. A lot of people are here. I might end up changing this again. We won't go through this episode till next time around. This is something that is interesting. We might do something like this. Rhea, we're giving the week off. I also am kind of upset that rivalry didn't conclude with her and Gigi, but I understand. Brunson is back over here. All right. Bron Breakker is supposed to be off for 2 weeks. Trick Williams and Cody need to have a match which I don't know. I think it best. Who needs the Hell Spa more, Rhea or Trick? I would say logically Trick because I know when he's competing next. Where Rhea, I don't know just yet. I also said I need to definitely do Sol Ruka, Roxanne, and Stephanie McCure for the women's title. We definitely need to do this. We will probably. Angela Dawkins, Carl Anderson are definitely competing. I just don't know in what stipulation just yet. I want to do this as a steel cage. That way, Cody can do the moonsault off the top like he normally does in cage matches. He didn't get solo. He just did a crossbody, but I feel for Mello he would. We'll probably do something like this. And then maybe next week we can have Kevin turn heel. Way too many low staminas, I will fully admit. So Bron's off. LA Knight can do an ad promo. AJ could do a charity promo. And Montez. So we won't even do a Hell Spa this week. And we'll probably, whenever we do Cody and Trick, we'll just do it with no stipulation and LA Knight doing our run-in. So there's that. Do we need to do all ads or all charities? Because I want it this week to be a week where we don't do. You know what? I'm about to lie to you. I was about to lie to you. Because let's look at the fans. Because ECW is like halfway to us. So that's why I was trying to do all charity promos. But while we have the halves off, that's why we need to be doing the talent scout searches while we can. D'Lo Brown, I would be excited for this roster. Mick Foley, yes, but I don't necessarily know what he would be doing. So there's a slight issue there. And this is going to be one of those rare instances. Seth freaking Rollins. Ha ha ha. Me and Yum will probably end up signing. I will admit that. All right. I said this is going to be one of the rare instances where I use one of these. All right. Back over here. Seth Rollins. I don't know. Seth Rollins is interesting. Me and Yum. We need to make a female signing. We'll probably sign me and Yum. Me Chin. We want to get technical. Bruno Sammartino, Kane, Andre the Giant, Rikishi. Last time. Oh, give me all hell yeah. All right, Stone Cold. Okay. Cactus Jack. All right. Oh, Chris Sabin. I popped. He's been on our roster before. All right, me and him, we will probably sign, and Stone Cold we will probably sign. Even though D'Lo Brown and Cactus Jack still excite me. So, Seth Rollins excites me as well. I just don't know necessarily what he'd be doing, which I say that about everybody, if I'm being honest. So, we use Thing 1. Back over here. Sorry, AJ, but everybody's doing ad promos. We're budget cutting. It's not really budget cutting. What could Stone Cold... Because I think having Cactus Jack is exciting. D'Lo Brown is kind of... I love D'Lo Brown. It's kind of... Having D'Lo Brown is more funny than it is, like, useful. Chris Sabin. Love Chris Sabin, but we had him our first 2 seasons. Jalen Brunson's still here, which is funny. Me and Yim, we probably need to sign because, like I said, I want to bolster up the women's division, and she kind of fits better than the other options. So we're going to think this over. We're going to think this over between Stone Cold and Cactus Jack. The good thing with me, Yim, is I think, let me do the math real quick. Because if I signed her for 1 week and then did the 10-week, I think would be good. 74,214 minus 16,500 is 57,000. And our show cost 50,000. So we'd have 7,000 left over around. So MyGM will probably be signed. Might feud with Rhea. We still need to find some way to bring another talent in to make things even. What could we have Cactus Jack do is the question we're at now. What can we have Stone Cold do as well? Because I think Cactus Jack and Bron Breakker could have a good rivalry. But then again, we need to find something for Cody. Because I think, thing one, we have to turn Bron Breakker back to a heel. Because he's either feuding with Cody or he's feuding with Cactus Jack. So that's thing one. Thing two is we could have Dominik and Cody feud for the world title. And RVD and Melo feud for the U.S. title, which was my original plan. Also forgot about that extra $100,000, but I'm still trying to save it. Billy Gunn is also here, but it's kind of like the thing with D'Lo Brown. It's more funny than it would be useful. Mark Henry and Bron Breakker would be interesting, but I think I've talked myself more so into Stone Cold or Cactus Jack. So we're going to end off right here. And obviously the next time around, we'll be making a decision on if we're signing Stone Cold or Cactus Jack. So I appreciate y'all for watching this one. I will see y'all when I see you because I'm out for now. Goodbye and stay safe.